Section 31. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Once you have the nutrient solution, you can always stay in, Lord. As long as you rest in the game world, your body will enter a deep sleep state. However, the price is relatively expensive. Just the game warehouse costs 30,000 dragon coins, and the daily consumption of nutrient solution is more than 1,000 dragon coins. After returning home, Yifan opened the forum and browsed briefly. On the icon of his account's private message, it's already plus 999, he clicked on the private message button. And immediately, countless messages popped up. Boss is awesome. How did you know that skeleton warriors can fight like this? After reading your strategy, I immediately cleared away the threats around me. Thank you, boss. The boss is really a god. According to your strategy, my territory is now level 5. I can't stop. I worked all night long and was finally kicked offline by the system. Boss, please tell me how to obtain the 4th level soldier, Bat Rider, you mentioned. Yifan was quite satisfied. The feedback from the players was very good, and many people stayed up all night with excitement. It seems that the strategy has worked. After closing the post and putting on his gaming helmet, Yifan entered the Lord world again. Ding dong, welcome to Lord, I wish you a happy game. The familiar system voice fell, and a picture of the territory appeared in front of Yifan's eyes. The early morning air in the lost continent is very fresh. At the same time, a series of sounds from the system sounded in Yifan's ears again. Ding dong, while you were offline, the basic training ground trained a total of 6,000 troops and gained 6,000 experience points. Ding dong, you triggered a 10,000-fold increase and gained a total of 600 million experience points. Ding dong, the level of one of your Knights of the Sky has been improved. It is currently level 2. Ding dong, the level of one of your Knights of the Sky has been improved. It is currently level 3. Ding dong, your troops. Ding dong, while you were offline, the research progress of Burning Flame has made new progress, and a total of 1,920 skill experience points have been gained. Ding dong, you triggered a 10,000-fold increase and gained a total of 1,920 skill experience points. Ding dong, Burning Flame has been upgraded to level 2. Ding dong, Burning Flame has been upgraded to level 2. Ding dong, Burning Flame level has been upgraded. It is currently level 10, which is the full level. The voice fell. Yifan scratched his head. He did not expect that the effect of the building could be increased 10,000 times. In one night at the basic training ground, a total of 60,000 experience points were originally obtained, but evenly distributed to everyone. It was only 10 points, but after a 10,000-fold increase, each person has 100,000 points, and the level will naturally soar. It can be said that with the basic training ground, Yifan can practice countless times faster than the players even if he hangs up every day. Battle Academy is also outrageous. After a 10,000-fold increase, the skill level is directly maxed out. You must know that the experience points required to upgrade the skills of the 10th level arms are very high. At this time, Yifan checked the properties of Burning Flame, LV10, effect. The flame marksman's attack will cause fire damage to the enemy. The first time it causes damage to the target, it will cause burning damage equal to attack *10. When the target dies, it will cause equal damage to up to 10 surrounding targets. After maxing the level, the damage value of Burning Flame is 4 times higher, and the AoE damage is directly maxed out. Yifan continued to arrange for Aina to study Fire Arrow Rain. Of course, she can still study it in her free time. After Yifan appeared, Vivian and Aina quickly greeted him. Good morning, Lord. Good morning, Lord. Vivian had already changed out of her dress, and her whole body was wrapped in light gray personal armor, looking heroic. As for Aina, she was still wearing a silver-white robe, but her little head was exposed, and her 2 pointed ears were unusually cute. After a night's rest, her mental state improved a lot, and she was looking at Mark with a smile. Yifan nodded to them and then started his daily routine. First, collect all the resources from the resource points and get 200 gold coins. Mosquito legs are also meat, so it doesn't take much time to prepare anyway. Then, he found that nothing seemed to happen. Yi Fan opened the trading house interface. At this time, there are already many trading projects, and it seems that many players have completed the first level tasks. Of course, there is nothing of value, either junk units for sale or exchange for basic resources. Yi Fan thought for a while, and first hung up a few sets of resources. Wood and stone can be exchanged for crystal stones on a 1-to-1 basis, all priced at 100 million, iron ore can be exchanged for spar at a rate of 1:2, which costs 100 million. Crystal stones are a relatively scarce resource for Yi Fan. Unfortunately, no crystal stone resource points were found around his territory. However, Yi Fan knew that spar was a more important strategic resource in the mid to late stage. In the early stage, its popularity was far less than that of various basic resources. If you buy a large amount of crystals now, the value will definitely increase tenfold in 3 months. It's just that if this information is known by businessmen, they can definitely make a lot of money. Of course, Yi Fan has no idea of making money, he simply wants to search for players' crystal stones. A few months later, the role of crystals will be reflected. At that time, players who do not have enough crystals can only work for Yi Fan. At this time, Yi Fan began to sell soldiers. As a mid-level soldier, the goblin miner has only one skill, that is to accelerate the mining of resource points. It is useless for combat, of course, it is absolutely suitable for working. At this time, Yi Fan packed a part of the goblin miners and dragged them into the trading house. The voice of the system sounded in his ears. Ding dong, do you want to sell the soldier type, goblin miner, *4296. Tip, after the soldier type is sold, the level will be forced to 0, Lord. In order to prevent high-level lords from becoming arsenals, any soldier type obtained through transactions will be forced to become the initial state of level 1, otherwise, the high-level lords of the big guilds can completely go all out, train soldiers infinitely, and then put them in other people's territories. This one directly limits the expansion speed of the big guilds and gives ordinary players a chance to breathe. At this time, Yi Fan also adjusted the selling price, 200 crystals each. Buy it if you want. After setting the price, Yi Fan directly pressed the confirmation button. Suddenly, the territory became much quieter. Section 32. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Then, Yi Fan waved his hand and sent the remaining goblin miners to the resource point to collect resources. At the same time, the changes in the trading house instantly attracted the attention of the players. Damn, everyone, look at the trading house. Hiss, so many resources. Night Demon Boss is awesome. I'm in need of wood to upgrade the territory. Evernight Boss is awesome. Buy a lot. Wow, Boss really posted a 4th level soldier. Awesome. Really a 4th level soldier? Let me see. Wow, this attribute, sizzle sizzle. Enough of the upstairs, you have a strong taste, you lick the goblins. Chapter 26 Departure, City of Light. May 5th, although the goblin miners are only 4th level soldiers, but on the second day of the server opening, players generally still use the 1st level soldiers that come with the basic barracks. It's a complete dimensionality reduction attack. The body is there. Even the 3rd level soldiers are not good enough in front of the goblin miners. There is a huge gap between low-level and mid-level troops. The news that Yi Fan put the 4th level troops on the shelves quickly spread throughout the Dragon Kingdom. Countless people excitedly opened the trading house. Then, they were all confused. I hate it so much. Why is it crystal? Boss Night Demon, can I give you gold coins? Don't you love the golden coins? Ah, this is embarrassing. What should I do without crystals? But I'm in need of iron ore. Everyone, who has crystals, hang some up. I'll buy them with wood. Ha, I'm about to take off. There happen to be crystal resource points around my territory. Go buy troops now. At the same time, the major guilds were also confused. They gathered countless gold coins and waited for Yi Fan to release the troops. As a result, they were all dumbfounded. Yi Fan wanted crystals. At this time, in the rose garden, Purple Rose's delicate cheeks were already full of fatigue. In order to collect gold coins, she didn't sleep all night. Even with the game cabin and nutrient solution, she couldn't stand it. Then, damn Night Demon. Zi Qiangwei's voice spread throughout the territory. Several members were trembling with fear at her appearance. The same situation happened in countless large guilds. They just felt that they were being fooled. However, if you think about it carefully, it's not Yi Fan's fault. Yi Fan just said that he wanted to sell soldiers, but he didn't say that he wanted to trade with gold coins, so countless big figures who were usually in high positions and powerful people hurried to collect crystal stones again. Zi Qiangwei was no exception. She cursed Yi Fan hundreds of times in her heart, but she still had big panda eyes and hurriedly ordered everyone to collect crystal stones from each other and then buy them. As long as you can get 200 crystal stones, just buy them directly. After Yi Fan posted the resources in the trading house, the whole dragon country became lively. Countless gold-making groups and studios gave up all the work at hand and devoted themselves to the mining of crystal stones. This is even more true for the lords who have crystal resource points around. They don't explore the surroundings, and all their troops are invested in crystal mining. They thought their chance to take off had come. Little did they know that they were just working for Yi Fan, at the same time. Ding dong player, little toothpick, bought your wood, asterisk 350, you got crystal, asterisk 350. Ding dong player, big bowl of prison rice, bought your iron ore, asterisk 500, you got crystal, asterisk 1000. Ding dong player, Zongheng Tianxia, bought your gnome miner, asterisk 30, you got crystal, asterisk 6000. Ding dong. Various system sounds rang in Yi Fan's ears. Yi Fan saw many familiar IDs from them. In the future, they will all be famous lords of Dragon Country. But now, they are fighting for the goblin miners released by Yi Fan. After closing the trading house, Yi Fan continued to recruit soldiers. Ding dong, you recruited, flame shooter, asterisk 2000, consuming a total of gold coins asterisk 400 W. Ding dong, army refresh card, was used successfully. Ding dong, you recruited, flame shooter, asterisk 2000, consuming a total of gold coins asterisk 400 W. Ding dong. There are still many cards, and it is not painful to use them. Soon, 4,000 flame elf shooters and 4,000 sky knights were successfully recruited. After all the recruitment quotas were used, the population remained at 20,000. The remaining 2,000 people were left for flexible changes. Looking at the troops assembled in the territory, Yi Fan nodded with satisfaction. This scale, at this stage, is absolutely a crushing existence. Yi Fan clapped his hands and looked to the north. It's time to go to the main city. However, from today on, players will have to consider the issue of defending their homes. If the home is stolen by other players or wild monsters, it will be no fun. Yi Fan thought about it and finally left 1,000 flame archers who had reached the maximum level to guard the home. Anyway, their level was also full, and there was no benefit in killing monsters. In this way, 15,000 troops were ready to go. Yi Fan organized 8,000 sky knights into the first Oracle Knights, led by Vivian. Compared with the archer group, she liked the feeling of leading the troops to charge. The remaining 7,000 are the Oracle First Shooter group, led by Ina. Ina should be classified as a mage, but the shooter group is relatively easy to command. Yi Fan waved his hand. Let's go. Target, the City of Light. There are countless natives in the Lord world, humans, elves, dwarves, demons, and even the disappeared mechanical tribes in Zerg. They have lived in the lost continent for countless years before the players came. Therefore, they also have their own city, that is the so-called main city. Section 33. You are listening at novelfull.audio. These main cities are either important cities in major empires or sanctuaries established by major churches. The major empires also have different attitudes towards players, but overall, they remain neutral for now. They will issue some tasks to players from time to time, and will also attract players into the empire. By the time of the Mortal Empires version a year later, players' development was beyond the control of the major empires. At that time, several large empires and players will become completely hostile. The main city that Yi Fan is going to is called City of Light. The City of Light, a long time ago, was just a small sanctuary established by the Church of Light, but as time goes by, more and more refugees seek refuge from the God of Light. Gradually, a giant city with a population of tens of millions formed here. An hour later, the outline of a giant city appeared in front of Yi Fan. The white city walls are more than 10 meters high. Looking from a distance, this city looks like a paradise from the divine realm. Within the city wall, there are countless defense towers reaching into the sky. The tops of the defense towers condense with terrifying magical energy. The color of memories appeared in Yifan's eyes. The City of Light has a profound memory. A few years later, the underground army counterattacked the surface, and the demon army also took the opportunity to cause chaos. In that big version, the final task is to protect the City of Light. At that time, all the lords of the Dragon Kingdom gathered outside the City of Light. Trillions of troops clashed with each other, forming an extremely grand battlefield. Of course, the City of Light at this time is still majestic and holy, and its residents live and work in peace and contentment. The appearance of Yifan's troops quickly attracted the attention of the defenders. They were all shocked. Stop! What are you going to do? P.S. I will add more rewards later. Chapter 27. Redeem the title of Viscount. Rewards will add more updates. Generally speaking, players' troops cannot enter the City of Light. You can only enter by yourself, but Yifan is a divinely appointed noble. Although he is only a knight now, he still has the qualifications to bring troops into the city. Yifan looked at the holy warriors gradually gathering in front of him coldly. The alarm bells on the city wall rang loudly, and at the same time, some city defense tools were also aimed at themselves. At this time, a man wearing armor and riding a tall war horse saw Yifan. His eyes narrowed and he said quickly, "Everyone, relax. This is our divine knight. Open the city gate." The paladins immediately looked at each other. A divine knight? No way, can the knight lead so many soldiers? I have never heard of any knight having so many soldiers. Look at their war horses. What are they? The heavy city gate slowly opened, and Yifan led his troops into the city without saying much. At this time, the system sound also rang. Ding dong, you have entered the City of Light. Only good and neutral camps are allowed to enter this area. Malicious fighting is strictly prohibited. Please abide by the relevant laws. Ding dong, dear divine knight, welcome back to the City of Light. You enjoy the following privileges in this city. 1. Troops are stationed and supplied for free. 2. Up to 100 paladins can be recruited to temporarily join the territory. 3. You can join here every month, receive church supplies. Inside the City of Light, various buildings are lined up in rows and orderly. The overall architectural style leans towards Western Gothic, with most buildings showing pure white color. In the city, you can see the largest and tallest building in the city at a glance, the Church of Light. Yifan first brought the troops to a military camp of the Light Church. As a divine knight, Yifan's troops can resupply here for free. You can eat all you want for free, and you can also be treated by the church's priests, so your morale can be restored quickly. You guys should rest here first. I'll come find you after I'm done. Yes. The two heroines nodded obediently. Yifan walked towards the bright church alone. The architectural layout of the Guangming Church was exactly the same as in the previous life. Yifan came to the majestic Guangming Church with ease. Outside the church, there is a large bulletin board. Players can receive church missions from here. Yifan did not go to see the mission, but walked in directly. The two holy warriors in front of the door immediately bowed and saluted. Welcome, Lord Daredevil Knight. Yifan nodded lightly and walked straight in. Inside the church, white marble columns spread upward, at least 100 meters high. The space inside the church is very wide. Yifan had an unobstructed journey and soon found his goal, a girl praying in front of the statue of the God of Light. The girl is 16 or 17 years old, with long blonde hair reaching her waist. She is wearing a pure white church robe, and her delicate cheeks are full of piety. The line of ID, Saint Cecilia, is displayed on the girl's head. Being a saint means having a very high status in the Church of Light. Her ability is also very simple. She can communicate with the God of Light. For Cecilia, the only thing Yifan knew was, she is a functional NPC that players can use to redeem various equipment and props. At this time, Yifan could only wait for her to finish praying. Fortunately, her prayer only lasted a few minutes. Yifan said, "Hello, Saint Cecilia." "Hello, Daredevil Knight. I heard OLED Knight tell you about your deeds. Thank you for everything you have done." Cecilia's voice was very soft and felt like a spring breeze. She looked at Mark with a smile, and then, the smile stopped suddenly. She looked at Mark in astonishment, her expression a bit at a loss. How could she feel the aura of another god from Mark? Moreover, it is extremely strong. Yi Fan didn't bother to explain anything and said directly, I will redeem the title. Cecilia did not reply immediately. She blinked her big eyes and looked at Mark curiously. She stared at Mark for a while and asked in a low voice, that, your goddess, won't you be angry? As a saint of the god of light, she is very familiar with the gods. The divine aura on Yi Fan's body was cool and holy, just like the moonlight pouring down at night, but... Section 34. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is definitely not the moon goddess. She is not that fragile. Then, there is only one possibility. After hearing her words, Mark was a little confused. Angry? Who? Stephanie. Is she just that weakling? Yi Fan looked at the girl in front of him speechlessly and said, exchange your title for me, Saint Cecilia. Ah. Cecilia was stunned for a moment, stuck out her tongue, and said quickly, oh, okay, right away. She felt that her little brain was not enough. As a believer of the moon dancer, the highest level, why would Yi Fan accept the title of the god of light? 2 boats. Yi Fan was too lazy to explain to her. At this time, the sound of the system popped up in front of his eyes. Ding dong, please choose the title to redeem. Point 1. Baron, 100 million contribution value. Point 2. Viscount, 1 billion contribution value. Point 3. Earl, 100 billion contribution value. Point 4. Marquis, unknown. Point 5. Duke, unknown. Looking at the conditions required for each title, Yi Fan also twitched the corner of his mouth. Just the Earl needs a full 100 billion contribution value. No wonder until 10 years later, there was only one person in the entire world who could redeem the Earl. I don't know how many missions that guy has completed, or if he has any special opportunities. As for Marquis and Duke, the exchange conditions are even more unknown. It seems that in addition to requiring sufficient contribution value, special tasks and opportunities are also required. At this time, Yi Fan's contribution can be exchanged for Viscount. He directly chose to exchange. Suddenly, various sounds from the system rang in his ears. Ding dong, you have successfully redeemed your title, Viscount. Ding dong, the title of Viscount will enjoy the following privileges. Point 1. There will be no restrictions when receiving missions from the Church of Light. 2. The territory is protected by the Church of Light. Any attack on your territory will be regarded as a declaration of war against the Church of Light. 3. In the Light Church store, all products are sold at a 30% discount. 4. Can recruit no more than 10,000 paladins, and can command battles of no more than 1 million people. 5. You can issue tasks to others, up to S-level tasks, and up to 10 S-level tasks per month. 6. Can participate in high-level meetings of the Church Core. Chapter 28. The Viscount supplies 20,000 epic city walls. 1/5. After being promoted to Viscount, Yi Fan unlocked many new privileges. The first is the tasks issued to the outside world, up to S-level. S-level missions from the Church of Light are extremely rare. Secondly, Yi Fan can recruit up to 10,000 paladins, which is directly from the religious order, still legal, of course. Yi Fan didn't know whether he could attract the high-level troops in the cult. If we could get the legendary troops of the Church of Light, or even the crowned troops, wouldn't it be a huge profit? Then, the scale of the battle that Yi Fan could command also became a battle of up to 1 million people. A million-scale battle is already considered a small battle. Moreover, the Light Church has begun to protect Yi Fan's territory with all its strength. As long as there are players who dare to attack Yi Fan's territory, they will face the entire Church of Light. For players, this is tantamount to a dimensionality reduction blow. His territory can be said to be temporarily invincible. Closing the panel, Yi Fan continued to browse the contribution value store of the Church of Light. Contribution value store. Point 1. Arms. Point 2. Materials. Point 3. Equipment. Point 4. Consumables. Point 4. Interfaces popped up. Yi Fan first opened the arms interface. Low-level paladin, 3rd level, 100 contribution value. Intermediate paladin, level 5, 2000 contribution value. Low-level Xingyao mage, 4th level, 800 contribution value. Intermediate Xingyao mage, level 6, 3500 contribution points. Among the arms for sale, the lowest is the third-level arm, and Yi Fan also knows that the quantity is limited. Even the third-level low-level paladin has a maximum value, and it is impossible to create millions out of thin air. Yi Fan had no interest in these low-level arms, so he directly pulled down the menu. At the bottom of the menu, I saw a golden message, Xingyao Guangming Priest, level 11. 50W contribution value, current number, 905/905, only available for recruitment with viscount. Or above. Yi Fan was very convinced that ordinary people would never see this type of soldier. Only with a title can one be qualified to recruit. However, the contribution value is also quite expensive, and ordinary players simply cannot afford it. If I remember correctly, Xingyao Guangming Priest is a very useful single-target healing unit and has invincible skills. He is definitely the king among nannies. And they are all good-looking sisters. Thinking of this, Yi Fan did not hesitate and purchased all the units directly. Ding dong, you have successfully recruited Xingyao Guangming Priest, level 11, *905, and the total contribution value consumed, 253.4 million. After a wave of consumption, Yi Fan's contribution value was less than 240 million. This is the effect of Yi Fan after various discounts. As a viscount, Yi Fan can get a 30% discount, plus a 20% discount for the title, spend a lot of money, the two are superimposed, and all products are directly discounted by 50% or 60%, save a lot of contribution points. Then, Yi Fan opened the equipment menu, Paladin Armor, Black Iron, 3000 contribution points. Section 35. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Paladin Helmet, Black Iron, 3000 contribution value, Paladin Gloves, Black Iron, 3000 contribution value. There are more equipment catalogs, many of which are equipped by the Church of Light itself, and it is a set, which has set attributes after being collected. It is definitely a powerful existence in the early stage. Yi Fan naturally looked down on it, and his purpose was not hero equipment, so he continued to scroll down. Holy Glory Light Banner, Myth, 200 million contribution value, remaining quantity, 1, found it. Seeing this name, Yi Fan's eyes were filled with joy. This equipment is one of the purposes of Yi Fan coming to the City of Light. In the previous life, this equipment was bought by a player, and it took off and became the top player of Dragon Country. Yi Fan did not hesitate and bought it directly. Ding dong, you successfully purchased Holy Glory Light Banner, Myth, and the total contribution value consumed was 112 million points. After the voice fell, Yi Fan checked its attributes. Holy Light Banner, description, a banner from the God of Light, which contains his divine power, rank, mythology, level 1, type, arms equipment, level 1. Attributes, 0.1. Damage to all evil forces plus 30%. 0.2. Holy Light Shining, after it is turned on, this arm will recover 2% of its health per second for 5 minutes. Cooling time, 1 hour, 3. Holy Light Coming, after it is turned on, this arm will enter an invincible state for 5 minutes. Cooling time, 3 hours. At this time, Yi Fan saw the attributes of this banner. All 3 attributes are very powerful. First, it increases the damage to evil forces. With Yi Fan's title, the increased damage is 80%, almost doubled. Holy Light Shining and Holy Light Coming are 2 life-saving skills, which are very suitable for frontline arms. Needless to say, Holy Light Coming is a completely invincible skill. After using it, it will be completely invincible within 5 minutes. If the Holy Light is equipped on a special tank troop, it is almost the same as the invincible state. You should know that the troop props are effective for all units of this troop. No matter what formation the troop is in, it will have an effect. In other words, when it comes to the late stage, if one unit is invincible, millions or tens of millions of units may enter the invincible state at the same time. How can the opponent play? Unfortunately, Yi Fan currently has no tank troop, so he put it into the equipment column of the Sky Knight. Sky Knight is an offensive troop. Although its defense is very high, its health is not outstanding. With the flag, it is an additional way to save life. Finally, Yi Fan briefly browsed the material menu. In general, the material menu items of the Church of Light are very few. Yes, the holy warriors are busy expelling evil every day, so how can they have time to dig and collect? However, Yi Fan still found what he wanted to buy. hero breaking stone. As the name suggests, the hero breaking stone is used when the hero breaks through the limit. At this time, Vivian had been stuck at level 20 for a long time, so Yifan naturally had to buy a lot. The price of one was 100,000 contribution points, and Yifan directly bought 1,000. After the discount, 56 million contribution points were consumed instantly. Finally, there were some consumables. Yifan simply bought some potions to restore life and magic. At this time, Yifan closed all the panels. Cecilia naturally would not wait for Yifan for so long. She clasped her hands together again and prayed quietly. Perhaps she felt Yifan's sight, and Cecilia slowly opened her eyes. She opened her red lips and asked, "Night Demon. Viscount, how do you and your goddess usually get along?" That looking at her puzzled eyes, Yifan couldn't help but twitch his mouth. It seems that Cecilia regards Yifan as the son of Stephanie. After all, even as the saint of the god of light, she has never received the highest level blessing of the god of light. Yifan casually said, "She's easy to get along with." "Stephanie, is her personality okay?" Yifan didn't want to discuss with her anymore, so he said directly, "Cecilia, I want to collect the Viscount supplies." Cecilia nodded quickly, "Okay." At this time, the system's voice also sounded. "Ding dong, you have received this month's supplies from the Church of Light, and you have received, gold coins plus 20,000, and the walls of the Temple of Light, epic level, *2. Ding dong, you have triggered the 10,000 times increase, and you have received, gold coins plus 200 million, and the walls of the Temple of Light, epic level, *2W. Chapter 29 High-Level Combat Meeting of the Church of Light. February 5th, listening to the voice of the system in his ear, Yifan was also a little confused. What's going on? 20,000 epic city walls. At this time, he opened his backpack, and he was sure that he had heard it right. There were 20,000 epic city walls piled up in his backpack. You know, the walls of the Church of Light are not mass-produced goods. Epic level, with magic cast by all the bishops, not only has outstanding defense capabilities, but also has special skills. At this time, Yifan checked the properties of the wall of the Church of Light. Description: the wall used by the Church of Light has the divine blessing released by all the bishops. Level 100. Grade, epic, durability, 500 billion. Defense, 800. Skills, point 1. Evil retreat. All evil enemies, the damage caused to the wall is halved. 2. Light imprisonment. Enemies attacking the wall have a 33% chance of entering the imprisonment state, which lasts for 3 seconds. 3. Advanced hardness. Physical damage is reduced by 50%. After reading the properties of the wall, Yifan felt quite satisfied. Durability and level, I have seen them before in the base of the Evernight Forest. At this time, Yifan's attention is mainly on 3 skills. The 3 skills can be said to be very useful. Needless to say, the advanced hardness reduces half of the physical damage. If it is an evil force, combined with evil retreat, the damage caused will be halved again. In other words, only 1/4 of the damage value can be dealt. Section 36. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And the light imprisonment is a very good control skill, and the probability of 1/3 is not low. Yifan did not expect that the system's 10,000-fold increase was so powerful that he actually got a full 20,000 epic city walls. This means that Yifan will be able to receive this amount of city walls every month in the future. Just sell it and you can sell it at a sky-high price, of course. Yifan is not short of money, and he is too lazy to sell it. His plan may be disrupted. Yifan originally had a lot of ways to get city walls in his mind, but now it is not necessary for the time being. Epic city walls, isn't it good? With these city walls, Yifan is completely enough to complete the second-level Lord mission. Moreover, 20,000 city walls, with the current size of Yifan's territory, it is completely enough to surround it. However, Yifan still plans to expand the territory a little more, at least the size of a level 30 territory. In Lord, the city wall does not have to be placed at the border of the territory. In the later stages of the game, the size of the territory of high-end players will become extremely large, even not less than half of the Dragon Kingdom. How to surround. Therefore, as long as the area inside the city wall is enough, it is enough to protect the core area and buildings. At this time, inside the Church of Light, in a simple room, a man with a resolute face and bright eyes is reviewing the documents on the table. His name is Jack, and he is the commander of the 2nd Legion of the Church of Light. He commands 3 large legions. In addition to several archbishops and saints, he is the person with the highest authority in the City of Light. Report. Come in. A holy warrior walked in anxiously. Jack frowned slightly and asked, "What's wrong?" The holy warrior hurriedly said, "Captain Jack, Viscount Night Demon consumed contribution points and exchanged for Holy Glory Priest of Light." "Oh?" Jack was slightly surprised. You know, as a senior official of the City of Light, he also participated in the pricing of various equipment, arms, and materials. The contribution value required to exchange for the Holy Glory Priest of Light is very high. However, he also heard the news that Yifan became a Viscount a few minutes ago. It is normal to be able to exchange for a Viscount. Jack remained calm. Then what? The Paladin continued. He exchanged all the Holy Glory Priests. What? Jack stood up from his chair suddenly, looking shocked. He quickly opened a panel and checked the transaction record. It showed that at 9:25 a.m., Viscount Night Demon successfully exchanged 905 Holy Glory Priests. Jack's mouth twitched. These are all the Holy Glory Priests of the City of Light. You know, these priests have always been the treasures of the Church of Light. Now they are all exchanged by Yifan. The Paladin looked at Jack's livid face and said with a stiff face, "And?" Jack was stunned. "What?" "He also exchanged the Holy Glory banner." Jack's face instantly turned black as dust. The Holy Glory banner has always been the symbol of the City of Light. Every time he went on an expedition, he was proud of this banner. Jack suddenly felt like he was shooting himself in the foot. What can be exchanged? But he said it himself, placing this mythical flag is just to attract players. He never thought that there are really players who can have so many contribution points. Once it is set, you can't regret it, otherwise, how can the God of Light explain it? He took a deep breath and could only swallow the bitter water. At this time, Yifan closed all the panels. After a wave of consumption, it can be said that he has gained a lot. In this case, both conditions are met, and there is only one left. Yifan looked at his 2nd-level Lord task, 20,000 troops. Now the requirements have been met, 100,000 defense forces. If Yifan remembers correctly, the epic wall has 10,000 defense force points for each piece. If it is surrounded, it will directly reach tens of millions. In this way, there is only one last condition left, killing 100 gold-level bosses above. Yifan knows a good place. Thinking of this, Yifan was ready to leave. He looked at Cecilia and said, "Saint, I want to receive my troops." He bought more than 900 Holy Glory Priests, but they haven't been credited yet. "Sorry, Viscount Night Demon, please wait a moment. The Holy Glory Priests are gathering." Cecilia said to Yifan embarrassedly, "If they are assembled, they will join your unit." Yifan nodded in understanding. The Holy Glory Priests are advanced units anyway. They are scattered in every corner of the City of Light. It takes a certain amount of time to gather them. Just then. "Ding dong, dear Viscount, please go to the City of Light Advanced Operations Conference Room to attend the Church Advanced Operations Conference." Ding dong. The system sounded 3 times. As a Viscount, Yifan has been counted as a high-end combat force by the Church of Light. He did not hesitate. After saying goodbye to Cecilia, he walked towards the inside of the church. Chapter 30 Slap in the Face, Prepare for the Holy War. March 5, according to the system's instructions, Yifan came to a huge conference room and pushed the door open. There were already more than a dozen people in the conference room. After seeing Yifan, everyone's face changed. Viscount, even in the City of Light, is already a very high title. Only Jack, the commander of the army, whose title is Earl, can suppress Yifan. They all stood up and saluted Yifan, and then consciously gave up their seats. The first seat on Jack's left, Yifan took the lead and sat down directly on the seat. He looked around the entire conference room, and Olaid was not there. The one who could participate in the high-level meeting of the army was at least the commander, commanding hundreds of thousands of people. Although Olaid was a knight, he was not qualified to participate. Section 37. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Yi Fan's eyes stayed on the commander of Jack's army. Jack, Mark is very familiar with him, he hates evil as much as he hates it, has a will as strong as steel, and is very powerful. He is an absolutely powerful being in the Church of Light, he is now at the peak of the legendary level. If he gets help from the God of Light, he can skyrocket to the mythical level. In future wars, he commanded countless battles and achieved extremely brilliant results. Unfortunately, the son of the Demon King united with several demigod-level liches from the Immortal Cemetery to trap and kill him in the Sword Ridge Mountains. Jack nodded to Mark as a greeting, he said in a calm voice, "Okay, everyone is here. Let's start the meeting." At this time, a regiment leader handed over a document, reporting to the regiment commander, "I have already formulated a policy for cleaning the poisonous church." Jack nodded and asked, "How about everyone taking a look?" As he spoke, a map appeared in front of Yi Fan. The map marks each legion's mission objectives, march direction, and even retreat routes. The poisoned church has strongholds all over the lost continent. This time the Church of Light directly mobilized more than 30 million troops. Of course, it is still mainly aimed at the ground part. The current Church of Light does not have the ability to attack the underground. At this time, after seeing the battle plan, everyone began to express their opinions. "No problem, I think it's great. I agree with this line." "I agree too." All the group leaders agreed. Jack nodded and was about to make a decision. At this time, Yi Fan's voice suddenly came out. "There is an altar to the God of Storms in the north of the Cold Wind Mountains. A large-scale sacrifice will be held recently. If you want to die, you can go. There are 3 level 150 legendary sandworms on the march route in the southern desert. There are 3 large poisonous church strongholds in the Vandal Empire. You should send heavy troops to encircle and suppress them. In the stronghold of Lamo Plateau, there are 2 high-level priests from the Poison Church, legendary powerhouses who cannot be defeated by ordinary troops." The entire conference room fell into deathly silence. Everyone was so out of breath that they didn't dare to breathe. This wave, it was a slap in the face. Yi Fan overturned all the battle plans with one word. Cold sweat dripped down their foreheads. If what Yi Fan said is true, then the battle strategy formulated before is just to die, regardless of whether it can be effective. The paladins will definitely suffer heavy losses. After a few minutes, Jack with a solemn face said, "According to what Viscount Night Devil said, modify the battle plan." "Yes." The former team leader nodded immediately. After this scene, everyone's eyes changed when they looked at Mark. No one dares to underestimate this newly promoted Viscount anymore. "Yi Fan, where did you get this information?" They didn't doubt whether Yi Fan was lying. It's completely unnecessary. For some things, you just need to send someone to confirm. If he is really lying, he will be punished militarily. Even if he is a Viscount, removal of military power is still the lightest, and the title may even be deprived. Yi Fan ignored them and took the initiative to say, "I can be responsible for the part between the Evernight Forest and the Death Basin." Jack's eyes lit up. "Are you going to participate in this battle?" The strength of the City of Light is somewhat insufficient. If Yi Fan can take charge of part of it, they will be much more relaxed. It's just that Yi Fan is a newly promoted Viscount and a player from another world, so he is embarrassed to ask him to participate in the battle. "That's right." Yi Fan nodded. In this case, Jack would naturally not refuse. "Okay, then, the Eternal Night Forest and the Death Basin will be handed over to Viscount Night Demon." The meeting continued for more than an hour. The content of the discussion was very broad, including the daily work of the Light Church. You must know that the Church of Light has more than one poisonous goddess. Among the many evil gods, she can only be regarded as a weakling. This is also doomed, and most of the troops of the Light Church have to deal with other things, and recently, there have been several big things. The first is that the poison goddess suddenly went crazy and suddenly held many large-scale sacrificial activities. Yi Fan naturally knew the reason. She needed more divine power to attack Stephanie's kingdom of God. The second is that in the east of the continent, countless armies of death suddenly appeared. These undead are countless times stronger than the undead in the past. There is organization, there are tactics, and there is definitely someone behind the scenes directing. Faintly, Jack smelled danger. Led by the Church of Light and with the participation of many temples, they are ready to launch a holy war against the army of the undead. Yi Fan also knew that behind these undead armies was the son of a semi-god level demon king. It is also the final boss of this major version. Of course, Mark was too lazy to talk to Jack about these things. It's useless to say it anyway. At this time, he was ready to leave, but Jack stopped him. Viscount Night Devil. Yifan turned around and asked, "Is something wrong?" Jack sighed and said, "The priests of Xingyao Guangming have been assembled. I hope you can treat them well. Don't worry." Yifan left a word and left directly. After walking out of the conference room, the system's voice suddenly rang. "Ding dong, you have received the only hidden mission, Holy War, clean up the toxic church." Holy War, clean up the toxic church, SSS, mission description. The City of Light has launched a cleansing operation against the toxic church. Commander Jack has entrusted you to clean up parts of the Evernight Forest and the Death Basin. Mission nature, the only hidden. Mission difficulty, 500W. Mission content, clean up the toxic church's strongholds, believers, and units. Mission reward, 100W. Contribution value, the mission difficulty is not low, at 5 million. It is also SSS level, which means that there will be epic level or higher enemies. However, the mission reward is also much more generous, with a full 1 million contribution value. After a 10,000-fold increase, it is 10 billion. However, this mission is not so easy to complete. Cleaning up all the units is not just about killing the believers of the toxic church. Section 38. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It also includes their various products. For example, the zombies that Yifan encountered before will also be counted in the task content. In fact, almost all the monsters in the Evernight Forest are caused by the plague of the poisonous church. The number is extremely large, there are always hundreds of millions, and the most important point, this task belongs to the Holy War. The Holy War is very special to the Church of Light, and for players, the monsters killed in the Holy War have contribution points. Thinking of this, Yifan is ready to start issuing his own church tasks. Chapter 31, Design Drawings of the 9 Hammers of Destiny. April 5th. As a divinely granted Viscount, Yifan can issue up to S-level tasks, and S-level tasks can require players to kill gold-level boss. Of course, Yifan must also pay enough task rewards, otherwise players will not come to work. At this time, Yifan opened the task panel and began to enter various information. A few minutes later. Ding dong, national notice. Player, Night Demon, has issued an S-level church mission, clear monsters. Players can go to the Churches of Light in various places to claim it. Clear monsters. S. Description. Viscount Night Demon is about to launch a large-scale cleanup operation against the toxic church in the Evernight Forest and the Death Basin. He is recruiting players from other worlds to act together. Mission nature, church mission, mission content, kill units, zombies, plague hellhounds, toxic church believers. Mission rewards, gold, basic resources, contribution value, requisitions, non-evil camp, at least first-level city lord, with more than 1,000 troops. After the mission was released, Yifan came to the grocery store in the City of Light again. In Lord, there are various channels. Nearby, the channel covers a radius of 10 kilometers, and speaking is free. Regional, the channel covers a radius of 10,000 kilometers, and a small speaker is required to speak. National, the channel covers the entire Dragon Country, and a large speaker is required to speak. Both large and small speakers are sold in the main city. Of course, with the blueprint, players can also make their own. Each loudspeaker costs 100,000 gold coins, which ordinary people can't afford. Yifan bought 1,000 of them directly, since he had money anyway, and he got a 20% discount. It was only 80 million gold coins. After getting the loudspeaker, he edited a message and clicked to send. National channel, Night Devil, I have issued an S-level task. Completing the task will not only give you gold coins and resources, but also contribution points to the Church of Light. Contribution points can be exchanged for equipment and arms. Those who are willing can go to the Church of Light to receive the task. National channel. Yifan directly used 3 loudspeakers and sent the same message 3 times. The current players don't know how powerful the Church of Light is, so he has to explain it, and listening to the various sounds that suddenly sounded in their ears, all the players in Dragon Country were confused. Damn, awesome. Night Demon is going to launch a large-scale campaign. Wow, is Night Demon going to take us to play? At night demon, what kind of troops can be exchanged for contribution points? Even if I get cheated, I have to take on the mission sent by night demon. It's a way to thank him for his strategy. +1. Plus 10,086. At the same time, the major guilds that were rushing to buy the goblin miners were also stunned, they were all a little hesitant. Do they want to participate? Rose Garden, Purple Rose rubbed her sleepy eyes and was awakened by the sound of the system. Looking at the information in the guild group, she was startled and immediately woke up. President, should we join? Sister, I suggest joining. I got a few goblin miners, which are very useful. The night demon must be very strong. If you follow him, you will have meat to eat. Yes, 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 you will never go wrong if you follow the night demon. Wow, maybe I can meet the night demon himself this time. I wonder if he is handsome. President. In the guild group, countless people have already turned to Yifan's side. The corner of Zi Qiangwei's mouth twitched. You are all like this, can I still refuse? She rolled her eyes and said, at everyone go to accept the task, and then go to eat. At 12 o'clock, meet in the Evernight Forest. Okay. Long live the big sister, that there are many guilds similar to Qiangwei, and countless guilds think this is a good opportunity to make friends with Yifan. After all, Yifan is too mysterious. He never replies to various private messages and automatically rejects friend requests. However, some guilds think this is a good opportunity to suppress the night demon. Although the server has been open for less than a day, Yifan has taken all the limelight. Where can their big guild put their face? Old Zhang, is it time to suppress the night demon? Hee, young people don't understand the depth of the world, we are one of them. We Black Hand also participated. For a while, the Dragon Kingdom surged. Of course, Yifan didn't care what the players thought. At this time, he was walking in the City of Light. The architectural layout in the City of Light was exactly the same as in the previous life. Yifan came to a building with ease, an inconspicuous blacksmith shop. In the blacksmith shop, various noises were made. At this time, a dwarf came over and asked, "What do you want to buy?" Yifan asked, "Is your boss Clark?" "Yes." The dwarf replied. It seems that he found the right one. Yifan nodded, and then said, "I want to buy the design of the 9 hammers of destiny." "What?" The dwarf shouted. His eyes widened instantly. He hurriedly ran into the house. Section 39. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, a rather majestic dwarf strode out. The dwarf's ID is Clark. Clark's eyes widened and he glared at Mark angrily. "Human, how did you know about 9 hammers of destiny?" Yifan smiled and said, "I know more than just the 9 hammers of destiny." Clark sneered. "Human, I don't know where you learned about the 9 hammers of destiny, but I advise you to keep your mouth shut and leave as soon as possible." After saying that, Clark turned around and left. Yifan was not in a hurry and said calmly, "Clark, don't you want to take back your Yagami mountain?" Clark's body shook violently. Yifan continued, "I can help you drive away the green skins and take back the 8 gods mountain. Of course, you must give me the design of the 9 hammers of destiny." Clark's body turned stiffly, his eyes staring at Mark. "Human, what's your name?" "Night Demon." Yifan replied. After the words fell, the system's voice suddenly sounded. "Ding dong, since your reputation value is extremely high, Clark's recognition of you is +2. Ding dong, you have triggered a 10,000 times increase, and Clark's recognition of you is +200, full value." Clark was having trouble breathing and asked, "Human, do you know what is in Yagami Mountain?" Yifan sneered, "It's just hundreds of billions of greenskins. Their chief is fighting the rat people in the south. If you don't seize the opportunity, there will be no next time." The air became quiet. Although the recognition level was at full value, Clark's face was still full of entanglement and hesitation. After a few minutes, he let out a long sigh. "Okay, human being, the 9 hammers of destiny are yours. Ding dong, you have obtained the 9 hammers of destiny design, immortal. Ding dong, you have accepted the mission, return to Mount Yagami, SSS, Chapter 32, a mission of 8 billion difficulty. May 5th. Clark is actually a dwarf prince. His kingdom was destroyed by the green-skinned orcs, and now there are less than 100 people left, hiding in the City of Light, looking for opportunities to make a comeback. It was not until 3 years later that Clark, with the help of players, drove away the greenskins occupying Yagami Mountain and successfully restored the country. Of course, the dwarves had a large population and numerous kingdoms, and his kingdom did not have much impact on the mainland. The 9 Hammers of Destiny are the supreme immortal artifact of the dwarves. Half of the credit for Clark's ability to make a comeback lies in the 9 Hammers of Destiny. This is an immortal artifact, countless times more powerful than mythical equipment. Of course, the current 9 Hammers of Destiny are still just a design, and Clark has not found enough materials. At this time, Yi Fan was checking the information on the design of the 9 Hammers of Destiny. Explanation: it is said that in ancient times, the dwarf god king used a hammer, which could not only create magical weapons, but also easily crush enemies. Later, this hammer was called the 9 Hammers of Destiny by all dwarves. Level 1. Grade: Immortal Artifact. Property: Materials: Dragon Bone, large, *20, Ancient Blue Ice, *1, Heart of Rock, large, *100, Primary Thunder, *200, Primary Flame, *200, Godhead Fragment, *5. Tip: when someone successfully creates the 9 Hammers of Destiny, the design will disappear permanently. Yi Fan. Looking at the materials required for the design drawing, Yi Fan was speechless for a while. No wonder Clark couldn't make it. Each of these materials is rarer than the last. Needless to say, dragon bones are found after the death of the dragon. However, large dragon bones must be produced by at least epic dragons, and the ancient blue ice, if Yi Fan remembers correctly, this thing is in the deepest part of the water elemental plane. There are not thousands of legendary water elements guarding the surroundings, but hundreds. The Heart of Rock comes from the elemental plane of Earth. Large hearts of rock are also extremely rare. Native Thunder comes from the elemental plane of Thunder. Primary Flame comes from the elemental plane of Fire. It almost includes materials from 4 large elemental planes. The final fragment of the Godhead is even more outrageous. Countless demigods took advantage of it. Not even the Church of Light can produce these materials. So, here comes the problem. How was Clark created in his previous life? Yi Fan pondered slightly, recalling the plot of his previous life. If he remembered correctly, Clark in his previous life suddenly created the 9 Hammers of Destiny 3 years later. There is no description at all as to how it was made. However, later there were rumors that Clark was making a deal with the devil. Of course, there is no stone hammer. Could it be the Demon World Chamber of Commerce? Yi Fan quickly thought of a possibility, and he thought the possibility was extremely high. The Demon World Chamber of Commerce has existed for tens of thousands of years. They keep preaching that as long as the funds are available, you can buy anything. Even the fatness of the Goddess of Life can be stolen from you in minutes. Behind the Demon World Chamber of Commerce are 3 demon kings who existed in ancient times. He has been a god for tens of thousands of years, so his strength cannot be underestimated. Yi Fan's eyes flickered and he murmured, "It seems that we have to find a way to contact the Demon World Chamber of Commerce." At this time, Yi Fan looked at the additional tasks in the task panel. Return to the 8 Gods Mountain, SSS, task description. Clark, a former dwarf royal family, has now had his home destroyed by the green-skinned orcs. You promise to help him return to the 8 Gods Mountain. Task nature, the only hidden. Task difficulty, 8 billion. Task content, expel the greenskins and help Clark occupy the 8 Gods Mountain. Task duration, 2 years. Task reward. Warm tips: if you voluntarily give up the task, Clark's favorability will be permanently -200. A task with a difficulty of 8 billion. Yi Fan was also slightly surprised. He had never heard of this difficulty. Generally speaking, a difficulty of more than 1 billion means that you must face an immortal true god. 8 billion, I am afraid you have to face many gods at the same time. However, the mission period is 2 years. After 2 years, Yi Fan may not be without the strength to fight against the gods. The matter of the City of Light came to an end. After closing the task panel, Yi Fan was ready to leave. Suddenly, the rumbling sound of the system rang out. World announcement: Dragon Nation, Heaven and Earth One Color, has joined the evil forces. As the first player in the world to join the evil forces, You are hereby rewarded with, Evil Soldier Pack, Silver, *1, Reputation plus 100. Section 40. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The world announcement rang 3 times. Yi Fan frowned slightly while listening to the information in his ears. He was too familiar with this. Heaven and earth are one color. Tiandiyi Sei joined the evil forces early in his previous life. He was present in countless battles later. Moreover, he contributed a lot to the demon's plan to invade Blue Star in the future. The number of humans who died in his hands was at least 9 figures. Yi Fan naturally had no good feelings towards him. He sneered and hoped that he would not meet him. Otherwise, even if the devil in the abyss came in person, he could not save you. Yi Fan soon joined his troops. In the troops, Yi Fan saw countless female humans in white robes. The robes were spotless, and with their pure and holy temperament, it was as if they had come to the kingdom of a certain god. They were naturally the holy glory priests that Yi Fan had newly recruited, 11th level healing troops. In the Church of Light, the higher the level of priests, the greater the proportion of women. When it comes to the 11th level of holy glory priests, they are all women. The main reason is that the God of Light likes pure souls. In the previous life, they appeared in the legions of the Church of Light, and almost a mouthful of milk instantly filled their health. However, players are not qualified to recruit them, so their attributes have always been a mystery. At this time, Yi Fan checked their attributes. Holy Glory Priests. Description: legendary soldiers from the Church of Light. They are all the highest level priests in the church, often listened to the teachings from the God of Light, and are proficient in various healing magics. Level 1. Attack, 380-402. Defense, 135. Grade, 11th level. Race, human. HP, 6000. Skills, .1. Holy Healing of Light, LV1. Holy Healing is a basic healing magic, but priests have integrated the power from light, and the healing effect is better. Effect: restore 30% HP to a single unit. Each unit can be treated by Holy Light Healing at most once every 5 minutes. Cooldown, 20 seconds. 2. Holy Word Prayer, LV1. Holy Light Priest prays to the God of Light for power and grace. Effect: increase all attributes of up to 10 friendly units by 50%, and attack speed by 50%, for 5 minutes. Cooldown, 30 seconds. 3. Holy Light Blessing, LV1. Holy Light Priest prays for the protection of the God of Light. Effect: make up to 10 friendly units invincible for 30 seconds, and each unit can be protected by Holy Light at most once per hour. Cooldown, 30 minutes. Morale, 200. Loyalty, 200. Food consumption, 1500/day. Chapter 33. Set off, Evernight Forest. 1/5. Yi Fan also browsed the attributes of the Holy Light Priests, and could only sigh. It's really too strong. Their health, defense and attack values are very low, even worse than the 10th tier troops, and they are 100% fragile, but their auxiliary ability is maxed out. The recovery effect is completely a percentage recovery. In other words, their recovery effect is stronger when they encounter stronger enemies. If it is a unit with more than 1 trillion health points, a bite will directly restore more than 300 billion health points, even if Yi Fan has a crown-level troop. In the future, or even creates a kingdom of God and has divine troop, they are still very powerful. This terrifying recovery ability is second only to the legendary troop of the Goddess of Life. However, that goddess is a dragon that can't be seen from head to tail, let alone her troop. Holy Word Prayer is also a very powerful auxiliary skill, which directly increases all attributes and attack speed by half. Holy Light Protection is a popular invincible skill. This is also the signature skill of the Holy Glory Priests. Yi Fan finally understood why Jack's expression was like he had eaten shit. These priests are really too strong, and they were hidden as treasures by the Church of Light in their previous lives. The only pity is that the number is a little too small. Yi Fan has only recruited 905 so far. Moreover, he doubts that Jack will not release the Holy Glory Priest again. However, Yi Fan is not out of options. The Church of Light is spread all over the continent. There are hundreds if not thousands. At that time, he should be able to recruit a lot by going around other branch temples. At this time, Yi Fan led the troops out of the city slowly. He put all the priests under his command and commanded them himself. As the army marched forward, Yi Fan thought about what he would do next. First, he had to clean up the believers of the poisonous church, as a task of the Church of Light. Killing the task target now will gain contribution points. Yi Fan will naturally not let it go and must make a lot of money. Then, he went to the Ice and Snow Dragon domain. The Ice and Snow Dragon domain is a super large secret realm of level 20, which can accommodate up to 1,000 lords to challenge at the same time. In the previous life, countless large guilds tried to open up the wasteland, and the world launched a battle for the first pass. Finally, after a week of painful crusade, the Eagle Nation won the world's first pass with the highest difficulty. Of course, there are many secret realms in Lord, and the reason why Yi Fan values the Ice and Snow Dragon realm is also very simple. This secret realm is very special, and there are a lot of bosses. It is a good place for Yi Fan to complete the Lord's mission. Moreover, as a reborn player, Yi Fan also knows the special plot of the secret realm and can get hidden rewards. The third thing is to contact the Demon World Chamber of Commerce to find the materials for the 9 Hammers of Destiny. The Demon World Chamber of Commerce is mainly for the royal family among the demons. Although it also does business on the surface, it occupies a very small share. It is not easy to contact them. As for Clark's matter, Yi Fan can only put it aside for now. The number of greenskins in the 8 Gods Mountain is at least in the tens, and there are countless mythical strongmen, and even gods are in charge. Going now is tantamount to suicide. Just when Yi Fan was hesitating about what to do first, the system's voice rang. Ding dong player, I am very big, please bear with it, has received your task, and all his units will be regarded as troops of the Church of Light. Ding dong player, big and smart, has received your task, and all his units will be regarded as troops of the Church of Light. Ding dong.